following podcast is brought to you exclusively by the Rad Rob Radio Network.
This is PBA champion Kyle Troop.
Hey y'all, Jacob Ledrup here.
Jeff Riggles here from 11thframe.com.
Hey guys, Chuck Ritchie here, formerly of Bowl TV.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Schaefer of track staff at Valley Bowling Center in Waverly, New York.
And you're listening. The following podcast is brought to you exclusively by the Rad Rob Radio Network. This is PBA champion Kyle Troop.
Hey y'all, Jacob Ledrup here.
Jeff Riggles here from 11thframe.com.
Hey guys, Chuck Ritchie here, formerly of Bowl TV.
Hey guys, this is Ryan Schaefer of track staff at Valley Bowling Center in Waverly, New York.
And you're listening to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Yo, the boys from Straight Up 5, Rad Rob, Dr. Ocho, and of course JP Jr.
Pick it out. Fear the fro, baby.
Welcome to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. A hard-hitting, in-depth, cutting-edge look into the world of bowling. This podcast will not only cover all things bowling, but will also give you a raw look into real-life issues. You'll get unfettered access into the mind of one of the most gifted bowlers of this or any other generation.
Strike, and they claim it. Similarly does it.
So without further ado, let's introduce you to the hosts of the show. Rad Rob Francois. Rad Rob Francois. Dr. Ocho. Dr. Ocho. And the incomparable Johnny Petraglia Jr. Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Hey guys, welcome back to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. I am your host, Rad Rob Francois. Hey guys, welcome back to Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. I am your host, Rad Rob Francois. I was adding a video during the intro, and for whatever reason, I cut it off. And funnily enough, funny, what's really funny is that before I started the stream, I put my name here. It's Phil Connors. If you guys don't know who Phil Connors is, it's Bill Murray from Groundhog Day. So the fact that I put Phil Connors as my name, the video played twice. I had to do my intro twice. Hey guys, welcome. I'm just kidding. Let's get to our first co-host. He is the man with the golden mask. He has a giant O or 0 on his mask. I don't know if it's what it stands for. Ole, maybe, since he's an Italian Mexican luchador. He is the resident doctor of Straight Up 5. Don't adjust your sets. He is large and in charge. Dr. Ocho. There's the gun. Look at the guns. Look at the guns. It's me, Dr. Ocho. What's going on, Ouch? I see what you did there. What's going on, Ocho? Good to have you here, buddy.
Rob, when you look like me and you got biceps like this, you get olayed all the O-time. So, winner, Ocho eats dinner with the biceps like this. Twin Peaks, they're called. James Vander Peaks, they're called.
0 is your handicap in league. Oh, that's nice of you to say, Chuck. That's right. Actually true. It's horrible. Yeah. Nicole, happy birthday.
STDs I have. Yeah.
Happy birthday, Nicole. Pete Cow, what's going on? Cram Bones in the house. Nico's
so, Rob, let's start the intro again for the 50th time since you wanted to do it a bunch of times. All right, I'm kidding. Everybody, let's get this show on the road.
Nico's
a little thing, living our dream. and being the best versions of us that we can be all day,
Virgins?
every day.
None of us
rocking and
are-
rolling all week long in my new logo.
I love that.
Look, he's jumping at the foul line. Making
that
sure
Elvis?
you don't foul.
Is that Elvis?
All right, anyway, let's go.
Let's introduce the
Happy
man
birthday,
in
Nicole.
the marquee. I'm assuming he's there at your palatial palace.
Not here. He's go feed him in. He's on the gimmick.
He's
There's his hand. All right.
I see his sexy hand there.
Jesus, oh, Jesus. I'm going to think of something now.
They all
I have
know it's
nothing.
me.
Yeah,
Do it twice.
I got nothing.
Do it twice since he
What's
doesn't-
hey, you guys got matching shirts? Look at that. Matching Elvis shirts. That's so
Oh,
cool.
you know it. Not to mention the backside fully represented.
Our backsides match also.
There's
I can
backside,
imagine.
baby. Oh yeah, we are officially in the biz, and of course, can't wait to see how many people say you're right-handed in that pose.
Mirror imaged.
Yeah, so that's
Yeah,
what
you can tell because the zero's backwards.
We'll
That's
show
a
this again
fantastic
later,
looking
but
shirt.
thanks to everybody who's already gone to our new website, which is still under development right now. But we're actually happy to announce that in addition to the current only method of purchasing, which is Zelle, we will have access to PayPal and credit cards actually starting tomorrow.
Nice.
And again, July 31st will be the cutoff for the first 100 pre-sale orders. You can go to straightup5.com and check it out there. All the information is there. And again, the email at the bottom is the current Zelle address for any pre-orders to be entered into the drawing for the autograph card, bowling pin of Dad, as well as a bowling ball of your choice. So thank you all so very, very much. And we're super duper flattered to be promoting the show we've been doing for 124 episodes now. So thanks to everybody for always being here and supporting us. And let's just keep this shit going, right?
Eugene Olson says, "Hey boys, JP, I need that T-shirt." Yes, you do. Go to straightup5.com, follow the instructions, send JP your money, and we'll send you a shirt.
Absolutely.
Simple transaction. That's capitalism.
Phil Connors, I thought that was you. I love that you just pulled out a total Groundhog Day
Phil
reference
did.
out of nowhere. That's
Thanks,
fabulous.
bro.
I just
Am I right or am I right? Or am I right?
These are always with the movie references, so I had to step up my game. So, but what's going on, Johnny? It's good to see you, brother. I know it's hot as fuck there, as it is here as well. I actually mowed my lawn today. It was like 95, and with the heat index, it was like 107, and the humidity was like 150. So it's pretty shitty here too. But I know you wanted to mention how different it is on the East Coast as opposed to the heat on the.
Well, honestly, I after being in Vegas for 12 years, I actually forgot about like humidity and like the blanket of disgusting, absolutely disgusting like filth that is humidity and that just hot.
You can tolerate it for a couple days, a few weeks. Oh, we have a Gabriella thing going on, so don't make. Yes, sweetie, I know. And she said Johnny. You heard her?
She did.
Johnny.
It's her first word. It's Johnny.
So, well, the handsome guy always gets the first words about it.
Anyway,
Anyway,
the drunkle.
it's we're at the point where we're over 3 weeks now. Like, there's a thing about body acclimation, but like you don't acclimate to 100% humidity for 3.5 weeks, and we're still a full week and a half out.
Yeah,
we get heat waves here in Ochoville. They're about a week, maybe 5 or 6 days. Then there's a break for a few days. Then there's rain for 5 days. There's a certain routine that's very cyclical with the music, circle.
The flow.
And this is not the flow.
What's up, Brad?
This is horrific. It's borderline criminal. My nature is mad. I'm a survivalist, so I can handle it, especially with as little as I sweat. But other people I feel bad for. And we're still not out of it. Again, over 3 weeks. I think we're at 3.5 weeks, and we still have another week and a half. It is horrific.
Yeah, for me, it's sweating as I'm drying myself getting out of the shower.
Yes.
Yeah. Like I'm watching the sweat bead off of my armpit as I'm getting out of the shower.
It doesn't even take.
Shit has to go. It has to go.
The shower doesn't even take anymore right now.
No, it doesn't. No, I agree. It's bad. It's pretty bad, especially here.
At least in Vegas, I just felt like I was standing behind like a car exhaust.
Yeah.
But like,
no, for sure.
I in front of a hairdryer.
I could play golf in 120 degrees and at least not sweat my balls off, my ever living balls off. But yeah, we're in a heat wave right now that's just crazy. I played golf with my good buddy Jeff yesterday. We teed off at noon, and we were the only people on the golf course. There wasn't another group behind us scheduled for another 4 hours.
Wow.
Not even starting till like 4:30. And when I tell you we played in 2 hours and 40 minutes and we were dead to the world after that. It was impossible to try and throw a bowling ball last night. My body was just so fatigued and drained. I haven't experienced that kind of heat torture on the body in a real long time. Haven't been away from it for so long.
Yeah, I mean, it's just something that eventually I'm sure you'll get accustomed to it, but I mean, you haven't been there that long. I mean, you've only been back for what, 6 months, 8 months, 6 to 8?
Actually, August 1st will be a year since I've been
a year
away.
already. Okay.
Isn't that crazy to think about?
No, that is crazy.
I was thinking about that yesterday. Yeah, I think I flew home August 2nd or August 3rd. How you doing, William? Good to see you, bud. For those of you who are just showing up, keep flashing straightup5.com on the bottom, guys. Again, this is the first shirt in the production of our merch. That's obviously a silhouette of me because I'm beautiful at the foul line, even though I suck at bowling. And then, of course, the back of the shirt has the logo. These are really, really good material, next level apparel, so they don't shrink in the wash or anything like that. And it's not that Gildan shit that we were talking about, the basic bullshit.
Good.
And again, just visit straightup5.com. Right now, the pre-orders sale going on through July 31st. Right now, the only method of the pre-order payment is via Zelle. But starting tomorrow, we will have the PayPal link there where you can pay with credit cards and all the other acceptable ways to purchase a shirt. So, as always, thank you for the support. Check out straightup5.com. A lot more good things to come with not only the website, but also the merch. And speaking of bowling, Rad Rob.
Yes, sir.
I don't know what Nico is asking you, but I feel like this is the second time he's asked it. So why don't we answer one of our longtime historians and followers, Mr. P.
On a serious note, how is doing someone else's job going for you? That's true. I'm pretty much doing the work of 50 people now at my job, but no, it's fine. Actually, I've been able to work from home for the last 2 weeks, so that's a really cool thing. Good to see my kid more, and things are getting better. We're hiring more warehouse crew. We're hiring more office crew and more drivers. But so far, so good. I actually got a compliment from our corporate office in Houston today, saying that I did such an exceptional job that we're going to get the Harley Davidson account back because of how I handled the last several shipments. So that was good to hear today. Finally got some recognition for the hard work they put in. But no, Nico, I really appreciate you asking, brother. And that was really nice of you to say. Things are all good. PD Patrick Dombrowski's in the house. What's going on, brother? We got to get.
Speaking of that, P Dom, we got to get you on here one of these weeks.
Just gonna say that. Why?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me know your availability, dude. Would love to pick your brain a little bit on here for show.
We actually have an email, Johnny. Much to Chuck Ritchie's chagrin, I actually checked the email account today.
Excellent.
So I'd like to read an email from Michael O'Malley.
Okay.
Who said, I always listen to your podcast and find it enjoyable. I wanted to know if you could pass along my thanks to Johnny Petraglia and family. My daughter this week was awarded the PBA Bowl for Life Johnny Petraglia Scholarship based on an essay submission to Bowl for Life. We are beyond thankful and honored for her to have been awarded such a generous scholarship, especially in the name of Johnny, who has conducted himself so graciously and professionally on and off the lanes. It is especially an honor understanding all that Johnny does and has done for bowling, the community, and veterans through BVL. Just a big thank you from the O'Malley family for all. Well, first of all, congratulations to your daughter, and thank you for listening to our show and the kind words about Johnny's dad, who we all know and love, and has done such a great job with BVL and helping veterans, especially through bowling, which is kind of a niche sport. But he's still able to have a platform to help everybody. So that is very, very cool. Thank you, Mike O'Malley. And Johnny, any thoughts on that?
It's just always great to hear. And I just think it's absolutely awesome. And I'm actually happy that I'm finding out about it now for the first time because it's even more real. But I love hearing shit like that, man. It's anything for the good of a kid that's aspiring to be or go anywhere. I mean, that's just the cat's pajamas, the bee's knees, so to speak.
It's definitely the bee's knees.
Yeah, congratulations. And thank you so much for that email. And thank you for supporting our channel. That's absolutely great.
And I'll forward it along to you so you can pass it along to your dad too as well.
Yeah, please do. And speaking of dad, packing up the good old whip and heading down to Virginia tomorrow to see dad and the rest of the PBA legends at the Bud Moore Classic at Bowl America Bull Run in Manassas, Virginia. Solid 3.5 hour hike from here, maybe 4, but depending on traffic, should get there. Going to go there and watch the match play round tomorrow evening, or at least the second half of it, and then have the luxury and the honor of actually getting a room in Bill Moore's home. So I'll be the guy downstairs taking care of not only the bowling lanes but also the full gym that he's got down there. So, so between going there on Thursday and we'll go back in the morning on Friday to watch the final round of match play, and then be on set for the TV show live from Bill Moore's home for the final of the PBA 50 Bud Moore Classic. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Dude, that's badass. Right now, after round 1, we got Michael Haggett leading the field. There's a lot of good names. Liz Johnson was leading during the week.
Well, it should be after 3 rounds, right?
Well, I'm checking the wonderful website of the.
Yeah, today was the 3rd round of qualifying. So after the completion of today, they'll start match play in the morning for the top 24.
They don't have the results updated, so
it should be after 18 games at this point. But either,
yes,
either
it is. It is after 18 games.
So after 18 games, and I'm assuming all 3 squads, all A, B, and C, have completed by. Actually, I'm not sure what time the late block bowls. There's perhaps there's still a few games left at this point. Anybody that has a brain and a phone can go check out PBA.com.
I'm excited that Mika has done so well. Major Mika, who was also leading earlier, but he's in 4th right now. Liz Johnson's in 5th. Walter Ray, always there. John Janowitz, who we recently had on the show a couple of weeks ago, was in 12th. Chris Barnes is at 16th. Jason Couch is in there as well at 17th. We got Tom Adcock. We got Danny Wiseman, our buddy, as in 21st. So there's a star-studded field for the Bud Moore PBA 50 Players Championship. Is that a major, Johnny?
No, it's not, but it's certainly a special event that I know that a lot of, like, the same way you kind of stepped it up a little bit when you knew that the TV finals on ABC were going to be an arena setting.
Right.
You always wanted to make it at the flagship Open in Erie because you'd bowl in the Civic Center. The one year at the JP Open, they got to bowl at Rutgers. I mean, Joe Louis Arena, just to name a couple venues, but it was always cool to get to be on TV in the arena setting. You feel like a true athlete at that point, even in the bowling world. The venue at Bud's is so unique and so intimate. You're walking into the man's home where he sleeps, where he eats, where he raised his children. And then in his basement, he's got 2 bowling lanes set up for the championship. I mean, that's a really, really intimate venue that how many people on earth can say that they were ever in a person's home that had a bowling lane, number 1, or number 2, actually got to win a PBA event there. And that's cool. I think aside from the fact that the lanes at Bud's house are completely different than where they're bowling qualifying and match play and all that, the same thing happened with the arena. And Chuck Ritchie seems to believe it is a major, which is absolutely awesome. I hope so.
The only reason I asked is because it said the Bud Moore PBA 50 Players Championship, and the Players is always a major. So I'm assuming that's right. So even better. Not only is it a cool location for the finals, but to win a major as well. That's a cool thing, and I'm glad you're going to be there, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. It's taking Martha. She's going to have to mingle with everybody. All the bowlers asking her about her average and shit like that, and she's Ocho actually told her to the Pro Bowl, and kind of went over her head, seemingly the way it just did over yours. But that's how much she bowls.
It did, yeah. And I don't bowl either, so that's why I went over my head.
Oh wait, we have a trade swap here, so you have to talk to Ocho real quick. Because I'll be right back. Call of nature, per usual.
Hey Ocho, what's going on?
Oh my God, it's so wet here. It's sweating.
It's pool short S.
I'm surprised both of I was expecting to see both of you in the pool from.
We're too wide.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fair.
But that'll happen one day.
That's fair. Well, he's taller than you. He could have just stood behind you.
I mean, we're in the low end. I'm on my knees normally in the low end because I'm 6'5". He's 6'7".
Well, when Johnny's around, you're usually on your knees anyway. So,
Hey, it's just unintentional. That's terrible.
That was horrible. Yeah, that was horrible.
So I know it's he's. I don't know if you heard. He's like, it's not my wet ass. I swear. So he was in the pool and he had a towel on, and I'm like, you didn't even have to say anything. But now it's kind of funny because now I have to explain why he's saying it's not my wet ass. So that's going to be good fodder for the podcast.
I need to clip that and put it on the roadcaster.
Just in the pool. It's not a Seinfeld skit. He was in the pool, and it's not his wet ass, folks. In case you were wondering.
Yeah, I gotcha. So, yeah. So, pretty crazy what happened last Saturday, eh?
I can't believe it.
No. That's all I got. Really? That's all I got. Can't believe it.
Yeah, no, I'm actually thinking I'm on a different topic anyway. Because
you're always on a different topic. But, yeah, we don't want to get...
No, during this heat wave, so this is going to be the best test for the bowling balls that I have.
Which you don't know what anything.
I know. I remember a wrecker now. I got the wrecker. I definitely have that.
Hello, Valerie. What color? Can you at least tell me what color your balls are?
One's a practice. Not a practice. A plastic. One's a plastic ball, and then I got the purple one, and I got the kind of greenish purple one. Anyway, if they don't crack, I guess then they should be like lauded as the best bowling balls ever. That they can withstand the worst heat. They're still in the back of my car. And just because I'm just that lazy to get them out.
No, it's fair. Because I when I lived in Connecticut, I always kept my gear in the trunk, whether it's summer, winter. I mean, it just
so you know where it's at. Like I'm gonna
and I'm always lose it. I bowled all year long, so I mean, why would I bring it home and take it back and forth? Like, no, just fuck that. That's stupid.
I'm not a summer guy. I usually.
No, I know with the whole mask thing. It's hard to breathe and all that.
No, the breathing's fine. It's the humidity. That's all. Usually, it's we're not normally in this type of heat wave, which we discussed. We've covered the meteorological portion of the show. We've done the promotional portion. He's going to see a bowling in a basement, so we got that covered.
Yep.
I mean, shit. We are in a bit of a lull of the season, but we've managed to. The problem is we've almost outdone ourselves. We've been so damn entertaining during the lulls. Because usually we just go off script and off topic that we say stuff that probably is only meant for immediate family members, but yet now the whole world knows it.
Right.
So we're how can you top that anyway?
It's true. We had so many bangers of guests. We just spent our load, dude. Really. I mean, Tom Clark ruined the whole thing. He was on, and then where do you go from there? Right? Just what are you gonna do?
Well, especially when he was like kind of like normal.
He was kind of he was normal.
I thought there'd be like a certain amount of decorum, and I was like, fuck, they're all just the same shit. I don't mean it like that. I mean it in a great way. Like they're just the same. They're the same people, you and me. We see them on TV every once in a while. They throw a round object much better than most.
That's true. Did you see Bronny James is in the summer league there, and I think he's only averaging like 4 points.
No way.
Yeah. I'm
4
not about
points is what? How many points do you get?
Just depends how many balls you get in a basket, right? So.
You're talking. Okay, I didn't know. I thought there was like a summer bowling league that I didn't know about, and I thought Browning Nagel was in it.
I mean, we've seen several 3-4 sport athletes, but I don't.
The quarterback for the Jets from 1992, Browning Nagel, was in a basketball tournament.
You didn't know that.
I'm asking you. Is that what you said?
I don't fucking know. Hey, Taryn, what's going on? Good to see you. Welcome back.
Oh shit! I look like shit.
You do look. Yeah, I mean it's fine. No,
Shut
it's
up,
fine.
Rob. Doesn't matter.
I do want to know actually when Johnny gets back, because I see a lot of stuff online about people's bowling balls cracking all the time. Since you mentioned that, and as we also both mentioned, we don't ever take our stuff out of the elements. So, what makes a lot of the equipment crack? That's actually what I want to know.
Expansion is what I thought. So here he comes. So
Johnny Petraglia Jr. I have a question for you, sir.
Well, I was saying how my bowling balls, if they don't crack, they're like the most majestic bowling balls ever because they've been in my car for the last, the whole year.
Well, I would think if your balls are cracking, you could save it with the power of Flex Seal.
I was using that for my filter.
That's a good point.
You saw it on the fridge out there, so
I did. So what's the real question here?
Well, I mean, I grew up in Connecticut. I bowled my whole life. Ocho says he never takes his equipment out of his trunk, which I never did either. So I was bowling all year round. Why lug it around, from my garage or whatever in my home? back to my car and back and forth and so on. So, my equipment. I've had it for the last 35 years. I could throw them down the lane and they'd be just like they were 20 years ago. But I see a lot of stuff online in the Facebook groups about people's equipment cracking, like, not relative to a certain brand, but I've seen a lot of hammer balls like Black Widows and stuff crack. But I mean, I think every brand has their issues with that. But if I can keep my stuff in the elements for 30 years and they're in my hot garage right now and they're still fine, what do you think causes current equipment to crack? Are they just not made as well as they used to be?
There's a multitude of reasons why a ball would crack. This can go anywhere from production on the line being faulty. Not everything is going to be perfect. Like Chuck said, if drill bits are dull and they're not cutting through the ball at the speed, at the heat they're supposed to.
But they do
generate.
Expand though, right? Like, isn't that a common thing?
The other thing is expansion and contraction. So the outer shell of a bowling ball is typically only about 1/4 inch to like 3/8 of an inch in depth, and then it cuts to the inner core before it gets to the weight block. But so let's just say, for instance, you bowl league in the Northeast and it's the winter time. So you leave your bowling balls in your car all summer long, all fall, whatever. Now you're into winter and it's, let's just say it's 15 degrees. All that oil in the surface of the bowling ball, you'll actually see rise to the top of the ball. It'll almost be like white patches. I'm sure anybody who's ever left a ball in the cold has seen the white patches on the ball. That's the ball shrinking, expanding. It's trying to force the oil out to the exterior through the pores. And all of that nature going back and forth, eventually that outer shell disconnects from that inner core. Bowling balls that have the pin drilled, the dot on the bowling ball that goes directly into the top of the weight block. Unlike what Brunswick did with dot technology, was they actually moved it where you could drill through the pin and not interfere with the actual drilling process. But the pin itself is basically just a long thing that connects to the top of that weight block. So if you drill half of that pin out, it's almost like that scene in San Andreas when the fault just starts to collapse. It's kind of is what's happening microscopically in the bowling ball. But shit, we've seen bowling ball. We had display bowling balls on the wall when I worked for Bowlers Mart in Vegas. Some bowling balls would sit there for like 2 or 3 months at a time, and if you don't rotate the bowling ball, we had balls crack on the wall.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, they'll actually say if you leave a ball sitting on, like, let's say you bring your bowling balls inside your house, like the buddy that cuts my hair, George, he always brings his stuff in the house. But if the bowling ball sits on one particular section of the ball itself for too long, now that part becomes heavier. So they'll actually tell you to rotate the balls, even if they're sitting on the floor in the house. This is all like, this rarely happens, but it could happen. And
if it's in one of the things with the hole in it that the ball, half of the ball can fit in it would do the same thing?
Exactly. Like
oh my gosh.
If it's sitting in a ball cup, exactly.
Wow. Who knew? Well, he knew. Obviously.
But it's a million different reasons. JG on YouTube says storage on cement and concrete will magnify the expansion and contraction. He's exactly right. 100%.
But see, I've had my balls everywhere, like literally everywhere, like in my attic, right now in my garage, on the concrete.
And they may be fine. They may have you'll never, ever, ever see a purple hammer crack. You'll never see a black hammer crack. Why? If you drill into a purple or a black hammer urethane, the exterior shell comprises the bowling ball. Its exterior shell and then its weight block. So you'll continue to drill into
it's all bowling ball, basically.
Right. You'll drill into a purple hammer and it will be purple the entire time.
You can take the surface down 20 layers and it's all still purple hammer. It's just a 12
But if you were to go and drill a Deviate Hellcat, or you were going to drill a Storm IQ Tour, or
how thin
Ion,
are the?
I'd say the exterior shell you're looking at maybe a half an inch. I would say safely.
Gotcha.
And then
how about recklessly? Would you say 3/4 of an inch?
Recklessly.
Still a half inch. He's a man by his scruples.
Then I'm just gonna say that the original fucking Teal Rhino Pro and the Green Quantum are the badassest balls ever because
you left them in certain spots for 30 years and they haven't moved.
Well, remember the resin of that era was also majority.
Well, that's still
two-piece bowling balls.
Same thing. So that'd be like a purple hammer then.
Yeah,
good point. That's a good point.
I mean, it's no
and your favorite
those balls are typically intact. It's the balls with the thinner exterior shells that have the most problems. And people will point fingers and say, "Oh, storm balls crack," or "Oh, this cracks." It's all fucking.
No, yeah, I know. Yeah.
Bowling balls crack with especially the amount that they have to turn over for today's market. Each company comes out with 6 new balls a fucking month. It's insane.
True. Now let me ask you this: I see a lot of people saying or asking what you clean your equipment with, and there's always different. Like there's 15 different things that But me never resurface my shit and never clean my shit, and they still roll down the lane like they should. How important is? I know resurfacing can be important, especially if you got like a lot of fucking wear on your track and all that, but just cleaning, like, is cleaning really that important? Because people seem to be like fucking super obsessed over
You
it.
never clean your shit.
I'm a little spoiled here. I'll give you
your balls are so new.
I try and go back and forth here, right? I would say for every 100 league bowlers you watch bowl league, 25 of them will wipe down their equipment after every single use. They're maintaining and taking care of their product. One of my closest friends, Nick, he could buy 3 new bowling balls a week for the rest of his life if he wants to. He's that kind of guy. But what he chooses to do is he sticks with 3 or 4 balls that he likes and religiously cleans them after every single time he gets done bowling. Why? They're taking care of their shit. So I'm not going to ever fault anybody for using a cleaner. However, I personally don't like using a cleaner on a bowling ball because I feel that cleaners clog the pores of the bowling ball and change the integrity and the motion of the ball and what it's supposed to do.
I thought you just didn't think it really did anything. Oh my God, I'm so far off because we did it. We did this at one.
I don't think it does nothing. But the other reason I never clean my bowling balls is because I've never had a bowling ball in my bag long enough that I needed to clean it.
That's fair.
I've always been sponsored by Brunswick for my entire life. I get more bowling balls than I can drill fast enough, and Dad on top of that. My God, dude. So
I can't have a few, right?
Like the same question I asked about league bowlers. If you went and you watched the PBA tour and you watched 100 PBA players, I guarantee you 0 of them are hitting it with a cleaner. They may go hit it with an Aberlon pad. They may take it down to 2,000 or up to 500 or whatever the hell they're doing. They may throw a little bit of shine on it, a little bit of polish. But
we look awesome with just the black and just like the little logo. Like that's
so awesome, man.
We're just like silhouettes
But there's you never ever see a pro use knockout cleaner or the purple stuff. Just to name a couple popular
Sunny
tack
Gig.
up. You don't see a pro hitting their bowling balls with that shit. They just don't do it. So I think I'm a little skewed in my opinion that it clogs the pores of the ball and it
is that true? Is that fact? Or
I'd like to know that. Actually,
I would think so. Like for instance, if you throw a brand new bowling ball out of the box, if you bowl 20 games with it, it'll roll virtually the same as it did game 1 to game 20. But once you get to game 30 or 40, it starts to lose a little bit of its tip down lane. It doesn't scoot through the front as much.
Isn't that an oil thing?
Now you go and say you want to have it resurfaced or you want to have it cleaned. The ball will never, ever, ever roll the way it did for games 1 through 20 ever again.
True.
So once you're past 20 games, if you understand that, sure, clean it away. Get the dirt off. And you don't like marks on your bowling ball, fine. Me, if I got belt marks on my ball, I fucking leave them there. I think it gives my ball character. Like I'm
like Tom Barron.
But it's what's up, Ian, by the way. But it's the each his own. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Do I personally think, this is horrible to say, that it's a fucking waste of money, $16, $17, $18 a bottle for fucking cleaner?
That's how much they cost?
Absolutely, it's a waste of money.
Shit, I thought I got one for like $7 like 20 years ago.
I've heard everything from like simple green to fucking some orange shit to like there's like
I use
15
denatured alcohol. You get it at the
like,
freaking Home Depot for $5, and
I've heard of people baking their fucking bowling balls.
So
putting it in the oven and baking.
Well, we had a
at 140
a
degrees
machine called the Innovator that was actually an oven for bowling balls that would excrete all the oils out of the surface.
So that's what I thought you were talking about when you said the oil pulls forward. You're saying in the winter it does it too? It comes out as a powder rather?
Sure, it comes out as Or they also have the detox machine now where the ball is completely submerged into water.
Right.
And that's another way to it's all attempts to extract the oil out of the cover of the bowling
in
ball.
order to make the bowling ball be more original and get more longevity out of it.
The truth of the matter is it never really gets back. And so you got this bowling ball that you love, right? So now you want to have it detoxed every 2 months. It's $30 a whack every time you leave it in that dunk tank. At the end of 4 months, you could have just bought yourself a new bowling ball at that point.
And again, we're having a Gabriella attack. She's the sponsor of Straight Up 5 for tonight.
She's adorable.
And I mean, she's a kid. What do you want? She's 23 months and 1 day old. So what do you expect? She'll be gone. Not gone soon. I don't mean it like that.
She'll be gone.
Jen's gonna put her in the pool soon. So
when do you stop using months?
I don't know, 2 years, I think, right?
Yeah, 2 years, pretty much. Yeah.
That's what we're waiting on.
Oh, he's 36 months.
My daughter's
that's too much addition. That's too much addition.
My kid's 158 months. Yeah, fucking that's
no. But 23 months makes sense, though, right?
No.
Like, or a year and
I guess if I had a kid, I'd say she'll be 2 next month.
Well, she wasn't until yesterday, so I couldn't say it. Now she'll be 2 in 30 days. All right, see?
Okay.
See?
All right, let's stay on the topic of balls here because I'm very intrigued by this.
That's what's Rob's favorite thing to do is talk about balls.
I'm always intrigued about balls. So you mentioned the core only being, say, a half-inch thick, right? And if you
the cover stock, the shell.
The cover stock, my bad. Fat memory. The cover stock is a half an inch thick. Does resurfacing the ball too much be an issue if you wear down too much of the cover stock? Like, how many times can you actually resurface the ball for it to matter, like for it to make a difference?
It'd have to be a lot. You figure full resurfaces, it would probably take anywhere from 12 to 15 resurfaces just to cut into the serial number.
What does a resurface do? They peel the layer off? Is that how they...
Let's say the box finish of the bowling ball is 2,000 grit with nothing on it. It's just 2,000 grit Aberlon pad finish. So ideally what you would do with the bowling ball is you start from the lowest number. You would put it on the spinner, a Haas machine, or a surface machine, and you would start with, say, 180 or 360 grit pads. Really, really grind.
Oh, thick. Yeah. Okay, so you're peeling the ball
You're
apart.
peeling the outer shell, the outer shell, the exterior of it, and then you gradually work your way up. So you would go, say, 360, 500,
1,000,
800, 1,000, and then
2,000 or something.
Fresh, brand new 2,000 pads.
And then up to like 4. Do they have 4,000? Or am I making that up?
You can go up to 8,000.
8,000.
But that's just to smooth it. But that's just to kind of get the whole thing smoothed over.
But
and
you would have to
even
do like a full hour resurface process. You would have to do at least 12 to 15 just to make a dent on a stamped serial number on the ball.
So you could do. Oh, so you got plenty of washes with it.
You got tons and tons of time before the ball is. I mean, I've put balls in my jig that are like my jig couldn't clamp the bowling ball because they were too small.
Right.
I have experienced this when you have older bowling balls, like awesome balls from say 30 years ago. Like I have an original Ebonite Omega. Remember the light blue ball?
Yep.
I have an original. I actually have 2. I gave one to our good friend George Goeg, and I still have the other one. But the ball, from just being old, I guess it shrunk over the years because I couldn't even get the ball to fit in my jig on my drill press. And that seems to happen with a lot of the older bowling balls that people seem to hang on to a lot. So I'm just kind of curious if anybody else has experienced that, but I thought that was kind of funny. But other than that, no, you can resurface all day and then the ball won't get too small. And honestly, even if the ball is a little bit smaller, it's still going to go through the pins just as good, maybe even.
I mean, would you, what, is there even a weight factor you'd lose? No, there's no way. It wouldn't even be measurable, right?
I mean, what, an ounce maybe?
Right, so not even measurable.
Not even.
So I never knew that. I mean, I've been bowling for 40 years, and it's something I
have you though, Rob?
Shut up, Ocho.
I mean, come on. You keep saying that, but you haven't. You have bowling balls.
Okay, I started bowling 40 years ago. Fuck off. All right. Anyway.
There you go. So there you go. You're a purist.
Semantics. I know you're not going to know the rules off the top of your head, Johnny, but I mean, do you think USB-C or PBA have any rules on how small your ball can be? Like, if they're going to do the hardness bullshit, right? Like, is there a certain measurements your ball has to be that's out of the scope, like too small? Like after
I don't think you'll ever see that, to be quite honest.
Okay.
And again, especially with the pros are always drilling the latest and greatest. And honestly, they can't throw bowling balls that weren't stamped within the last 2 years.
That's
so
true.
if there ever is a factory defect where a ball is small, it's not going to happen across the board. And honestly, a smaller bowling ball is not going to really improve anything for anybody. What's up, Jerry? Good to see you back, homie.
Jerry Mars, what's going on? Yeah, we haven't seen him in a while. Good to have you back here, brother. Okay, no, that's
Jerry, speaking of which, man, check out the shirts. Check out straightup5.com, homie. I'm going to have to rock your Chicago White Sox Cubs jersey one of these shows. I'll probably wear that next week.
Biceps not included. Just FYI.
They are not included.
What are we going to do for Ocho? Like, we're definitely going to have, badass designs other than that badass shirt. But, I mean, what do you think Ocho's should be? If we had to kind of brainstorm, we'll leave this up in the chat, too. Like, what do you think would be a good Ocho t-shirt?
My idea for an Ocho t-shirt was him standing with his foot raised up on a bowling ball, like one knee bent, the big red wiffle bat over one shoulder,
the Captain Morgan pose,
and the fucking
and of course
the bicep on the other one. And the shirt should say, "What can't Ocho do?"
Yes, absolutely.
Call the art department.
There you go. Money.
Call Nick.
Nick
at the art department. Let's get on it. It's already a demand. It's already a demand for
would
these
we
shirts.
do?
Get 5,000 of them.
Would we do a caricature of Ocho?
No need.
Oh, I mean, yeah, gotta make him look a little bit more vascular and grainy.
Like with the wrestling action figures, like even Hulk Hogan had like fucking 50 abs, right? And his fucking biceps were huge.
Exactly.
Yeah, dude. Absolutely. A big hulking
lifelike. I'll take one ab.
Dude, that's awesome. That's an awesome idea. So yeah, no, that's
Valor
cool.
said holding 2 bowling balls on the biceps. That'd be perfect.
Sure.
We could have multiple Ocho shirts. That's fine. He's the star of the show, right?
Very much so.
Hey Stan, what's going on, brother? Sign me up for 7 each day of the week. That's awesome. Stan is a former Imbecile of the Week, which is fucking hilarious. Like he sent me a results.
Belmo hates Stan, by the way.
Belmo hates Stan.
reason.
Yes, no, Belmo hates Stan. Stan always sends me funny memes or funny pictures and like bowling updates and shit like that. He's a good guy. Belmo might hate him, but we love Dan Young. So thanks for being a supporter of our show, even though we fucking ragged on you like a year and a half ago. So I'll live. No, that's cool. Doc Sullivan, however, is not allowed on the show. Fuck him. He's still blacklisted from the Straight Up 5 army. That guy's a real son of a bitch. All because he said, in fact, I don't even know why we hate him anymore. Oh, he said John Mazza wasn't a legend. Yeah, so fuck you, Doc Sullivan. You're still an asshole. Whoa. Welcome to Straight Up 5 After Dark. I thought you were gonna take your shirt off there for a second.
We're letting Ocho be the dad right now.
He's such a good dad, right? Like, goddamn. Dude's he's such a good guy. So other than going to the Bud Moore, do you have any other plans? Is your dad bowling any more tournaments this year? I know he's on a limited schedule.
This is going to be it for Dad. And quite honestly, he shouldn't have actually even bowled this event. That's not a knock on Dad. I mean, it's just he's at that age, man. It's not even so much getting through the block; it's having to bowl 3 blocks.
Right.
He's not going there with any obviously he's a competitor at heart. He's trying to win everything that he enters, right? But in the same respect, he's also going there to support the cause, to support the tournament that is in one of his best friend's names and is now a major.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's but he's physically it's not there anymore. And Dad said this for a long time. He always said that everybody has a clock. You don't really know when it's your time. And, 10 years ago, my dad could still win. And now he can't win anymore. We saw it happen with Carmen Salvino,
Yep.
But Carmen Salvino, he's 82 and gives a shit if he goes 400 under. It doesn't matter. They're not there they're there to see Carmen, not watch Carmen win the tournament, So
yeah,
he's certainly in high spirits. He did pop off a 277 the opening game of the second block and went about 60 over for the block, which, you know what, man, if I'm walking when I'm 77, let alone averaging over a deuce on a PBA condition, I think that's just fine. So, like Dan says, he doesn't need to prove anything, and he's still in high spirits. And honestly, one of the main reasons I'm going is because I don't know how much longer my dad's tour life is even going to exist. And one of my favorite things doing throughout my entire life was always going and being around the guys. And the senior tour, I mean, I'm 39 years old, but the senior tour, half the senior tour is like my childhood idols. So I'm really looking forward to seeing all the guys and really just being in that unique venue that we spoke of earlier.
I'd like to have your dad on at some point coming up. I mean, just to kind of that's a huge thing, right? Like an icon, like of all icons, dude. Like very few people like him and Walter and Parker, and they're not going to be bowling that much longer. I know Parker's obviously younger, but I mean he's got a little bit more time. But your dad, especially, man, like that's a big deal. That's like one of the top greats of all time. Not bowling competitively anymore. That's not something to like just brush aside, right? Like that's a big deal in our world.
Being as humble as I can about it, it really is. I mean, aside from Dad, I'm trying to think of the other legends that have been around that long. And I mean, Norm left way too early in my eyes.
Yes, he
I
did.
wish we could have watched him for another 30 years. And obviously Pete is still out there, but I'm talking about the golden age. Like Pete, Walter, they're still in their early 60s. They still got plenty of time. Dad's 15, 16 years older than those guys.
Yeah.
I kind of like relate my dad with the lates, like Earl Anthony.
Yeah,
Mark Roth. I mean,
Dick Weber.
Dick Weber, just to name a couple. That's Dad's era. Don Johnson.
Yeah.
So of those legends, not quite some charter members, original charter members of the PBA, some close to it. That's he's at that spot now where he is. I think the last one. I don't want to like step on anybody's toes if I'm not bringing up somebody else that should be included in there that's still actually out there doing it. But yeah, I mean, kudos to him for sure. So this is like one for sure last trip that I get to hang out with the bowling idols and Dad at a PBA event. So
that's cool, dude.
I'm a big kid these next few days.
That's good. I'm happy for you, man. That's you're gonna have a great time. I'm really that is a cool thing. And it's honestly not just a treat for you, but a treat for anybody else that's there. Like they can say, I watched Johnny Petraglia Sr.'s last game being bowled. I mean, that's like not a lot of people can say that.
What's cool for me is when I go to PBA stops, I typically meet anywhere from 10 to 40 new people that know of me, have seen me, and want to come up and talk to me. And I'm a little bit nuts, but I will literally talk to anybody, and I typically like everybody.
Sure.
And I just typically like everybody, so I'm very approachable in that respect. But when I'm in venues like that, a lot of times what happens to me is they'll share a story with me about Dad that even Dad probably doesn't even remember half the time.
Right.
And I learned more things about my dad than from outsiders than I do from him at this point in my life, so that's very, very humbling to hear the stories and put my dad there at that spot in time. That's one of the things I think go unnoticed or overlooked when it comes to actual fame and anything. And I think it's one of the reasons why my dad preaches what he preaches the same way Dick Weber did, is just be kind to everybody, because it's not necessarily what you do, it's how you do it. And Dad's always done things the right way. And it's paying dividends in his later years, because everybody that talks about Dad always says one of two things. He's the classiest guy they ever met. He's got great stories.
Yeah.
I never hear anybody say, man, that guy's a dick. Because he's not, because he makes sure that he takes care of everybody else. And that's what makes somebody famous. That's what makes somebody a legend.
And it's just special, like when he popped in, a couple weeks ago, just to say, hey, like our chat blew up. Like it was like, holy shit, it's the GOAT, it's a legend, it's fucking Johnny Sr. Like that's a big, like it's still like we're all like kids, right? Like he's one of our idols. Like I know he's your dad, but I mean, if you were a bowling fan, you would idolize him as well, right? I mean, I'm sure you do anyway, but it's always a treat. I'll never, ever take for granted anytime I've ever had, been able to speak with him. That one time we had him on our show and watched his 300 game, but whenever he pops in, it's like, oh, it's fucking like the president's here. Like royalty is here. Like he's bowling royalty.
I mean, I can relate in a different respect, because to this day, even though he's like a second dad to me, I still kind of feel like shy around Parker Bone. Because to me, Parker's royalty.
Right.
Parker's also the guy that goes to Howell Lanes and fills up pitchers of orange soda and Coca-Cola when the birthday party girls are like busy.
That's cool.
And wears ugly white socks with his Saucony running shoes and his short denim shorts. Like but in the same respect, it's like, this is my royalty. So I kind of understand the feeling that comes over people when they see my dad. And the fact that they're so easily accessible,
right?
The fact that you can talk to them about anything, and they'll make a great conversation out of it with you. I mean, that's true classy professionals right there, two of them.
Of all the people we've had on the show, how the fuck, with all of your connection to him, how have we not had Parker on the show, for Christ's sakes?
It's one of those things. I didn't even think of it, because he's more of like a second dad. It's
right.
I never like, oh shit, we got to get him on here. I'll tell you what, I'm assuming he'll be at Bud's place, or at least still there if he's not in the top 24. But either way, we'll get Parker on here pretty soon.
Yeah, we need to. We need to for sure. In fact, the whole family, like they're all fucking awesome.
Oh yeah,
Justin, Brandon, everybody's
Great
great.
family.
So we are at we're at the 50-minute mark here. So
Yeah, I mean, we said everything we had to say. I want to make sure that we thank everybody again. Again, the pre-order sale ends July 31st. Visit straightup5.com right now if you want this awesome shirt with my silhouette on the front.
That's so cool. That was
as
a great
well
idea.
as the Straight Up 5 with us logo on the back. Feel free to check it out at straightup5.com. Right now we are accepting payments via Zelle. Starting tomorrow, there will be a link on there for PayPal and all credit card transactions as well. So thank you so much again. And we'll definitely send out updates to everybody for all the other merch that's about to be coming out right behind this one.
I'm super
Already
excited.
2 in the production line, different colors, different shit. And then eventually onto the trinkets, glasses, earrings, all that fun stuff.
We need hats too, for sure. We got to have a
And
certified
masks.
hat.
And
Absolutely.
And
All right.
having said all of that, why don't you get us our Imbecile of the Week, and then we'll get the fuck out of here.
Here we go.
It's time for everybody's favorite segment.
If you guys don't know how to use a seatbelt, just ring your call button and Tommy will come back there and hit you on the head with a tack hammer.
You know, Lloyd, just when I think you couldn't possibly be any dumber.
Here's the Imbecile of the Week.
Some people are really stupid.
All right, this comes to us from our very own Chuck Ritchie. It was his idea to nominate this person for the Imbecile of the Week. Johnny, we've heard some pretty horrible renditions of the national anthem over the last 15, 20 years. Are you aware of the most recent butchering of the anthem during the MLB All-Star game recently? You're muted. You're on mute.
Sorry.
There we go.
Before you further ado, I don't know if you can see this post I made on Facebook yesterday. I don't know if the light is fucking up, but anyway, as the home run derby person was done singing, I posted 4-time Grammy nominee, huh? What the fuck did I just listen to? I got 74 likes and 85 comments on it. I haven't looked at a single one, but
it's a damnedest thing.
Go on.
Yeah, let's.
You're gonna play it again?
I'm gonna play it so everyone's ears have to.
For those of you, if anybody has the balls to even look unfettered, real quick. I don't even want the nice, kind-hearted person to write something like, "Oh, she gave it her best efforts. Look, that's the style that she sings in." I don't want anybody try to even fucking pretend like this is acceptable. Hit it, Rob.
Here's Ingrid Andress. I can't even say her name right. It's so bad. Ingrid Andress performing the national anthem at the MLB Home Run Derby All-Star Game. Here we go.
Andress.
Oh, say, can you see?
Not bad.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed by the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled
He was.
For the land of the free.
Yeah.
And the home of the brave.
They're clapping because it was over. That's the only reason why they were applauding was because it was over.
That was the best imbecile of the week
ever. Yeah, absolutely. Chuck Ritchie, thanks for nominating her. Voice of an Angel, says Dan. It's funny. I watched one of her other videos just to see what else she sings, and she was still off key. And she has a very low range. Like if she stays in that pocket, like she's okay, but she doesn't have a high range. And when she tries to hit some of those notes, she doesn't hold the notes because she doesn't have the ability. She kind of cuts them off short. Doesn't
I just think
breathe.
she sucks.
Or she sucks. Yeah, you heard from Johnny Petraglia.
The one that sang the national anthem at the Derby. All right. For Ocho.
Yes,
Thank
for
you
the
all
Ocho.
again for sitting through our rant this evening. And looking forward to visiting Virginia. So, Rob, if you got nothing else, man, thanks again for everybody. Pre-orders end July 31st. For Straight Up 5 gear, visit us at straightup5.com. And you could also send me a personal message if you have any further questions.
You can also email us at Straight Up 5 Podcast. That's straight up the number 5 podcast at gmail.com. Thanks again for Mike O'Malley for the email for his daughter winning a sponsorship courtesy of BVL. I mean, scholarship courtesy of BVL. That's just a cool thing. So, all right, guys, we always enjoy our support. We always enjoy our support. Jesus Christ. That was one of the worst constructed sentences in history.
Not as bad as Ingrid's rendition of the national anthem.
That's fair. That's fair. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next week for another edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. Good night. God
I
bless.
went to see Jason Aldean. Forgot to tell you that. All right, good night, guys.
Okay, good. That was very unexpected. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for listening to this edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr. You can follow the show on Twitter at Straight Up 5 Pod. Follow Johnny Jr. at JPJR07. Follow Rad Rob at Rad Rob Gaming. And follow Dr. Ocho at the Dr. Ocho. Got a question for Johnny? Send your questions to straightup5podcast at gmail.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Straight Up 5 with Johnny Petraglia Jr.
Right here on the Red Rob Radio Network.